So today, I want to help you guys out with sleep. This is something that most people struggle with or will struggle with at certain points of your life. Life isn't getting any less stressful or any less busy, and sleep is something that starts at the beginning of your day. For setting yourself up for a great night of sleep, you got to start at the beginning of your day. Everything you do in between and to the end of your day is going to impact if you actually get deep restorative sleep cycles at the end of it. So, let's start from beginning until the end. First thing in the morning, we want to try to wake up without an alarm clock. This is going to come from a lot of work and a lot of consistency. So, we want to try to go to bed and wake up around the same times every single day. I know it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. I'm not perfect about it. Most people are not. I've been doing a lot of traveling and even changing time zones. This is a struggle for me right now. So, the issue is why you want to try to wake up without an alarm clock is that means you're probably going to be waking up during a light sleep cycle, which is when you want to be waking up. If you're not doing that and you're waking up in the middle of a dream, it doesn't matter if you sleep 9 hours, you're going to have brain fog and you're not going to feel great the rest of the day. You build that consistency in your body's internal clock by going to bed around the same time, waking up around the same time. Your body will get synced up to that, and eventually you'll just start waking up on your own without an alarm clock, best case scenario. That way, you're set up for deep restorative sleep, and that is honestly probably more important than actually how long you sleep, as long as you're not sleeping, something like 3 or 4 hours. If you're sleeping over 5 hours a night, consistency with your sleep is going to leave you feeling the best. So, first thing in the morning, try to wake up without an alarm clock. Right after that, we want light into our eyes. So that could be going outside, getting some sunlight. That is the best way to do it. It's going to set up your body's clock for restful sleep 16 hours later. If you live somewhere where you don't get a lot of sunlight, it is winter, get something like what I got around my phone right now. A big ring light, red light panel, something like that is artificial, giving your body a lot of light. Morning time, we want a lot of light. Evening, we want to start reducing the light. So first thing, try to get a lot of blue light, try to get a lot of sunlight in those eyes. It's going to be helpful. Hydrate first thing in the morning. And there's some of these things in here that's going to be more of a trickle-down effect. So hydration doesn't necessarily lead to like you falling asleep easier or deeper in the evening. But we want to front load your hydration. We want to get most of those liquids in during the first part of your day, because if you're trying to drink a bunch of water later on in the evening right before bed and you're waking up to pee, that is not going to be helping with great sleep. So front load your hydration. You just went 6 to 9 hours without getting a ton of water in. Water, first thing in the morning, 12 to 48 ounces. Try to get some electrolytes in there. It's going to get rid of the brain fog. Most of the time when you suckers are sleepy during the middle of the day or just cannot get energy, you're dehydrated. So before you reach for the coffee, drink some water. Get some electrolytes in. Going from there, caffeine. The good old coffee. We love caffeine here. We recommend it for most of our clients, but the issue is the half-life, the quarter life of caffeine. Caffeine sticks around your body a long time, so the half-life is going to be about 6 hours. The quarter life is going to be about 3 hours. So if you drank 200 milligrams of caffeine at noon, by 6 p.m., 100 milligrams is still floating around in your bloodstream. At 8 p.m., you still have 50 milligrams floating around in your bloodstream. It's almost about as much as a cup of coffee. Most people are not going to slam a cup of coffee before jumping into bed. So it's something to keep in mind. In a best case scenario, try to get your caffeine consumption in at the latest by 2 p.m. There's going to be days where you can't do that, but try to get it at the latest by 2 p.m. Noon or 11 a.m. is probably the sweet spot where you want to cut off caffeine and use other things for your energy. But caffeine disrupts most people's sleep. So cut off caffeine. That is going to be maybe the biggest thing, and you can just shut off this video and your sleep is going to be great if you just control your caffeine intake. Throughout the course of the day, though, we need to create sleep pressure. So sleep pressure, that comes from activity levels, and it's not from intensity as much. So it's not like going and doing a 30 or 60-minute intense leg day. It comes from volume. It comes from getting enough general activity in via steps, regular motions, cardio. It gives pressure to your body and your brain that you actually need sleep. A lot of times when people have really tired bodies, but their brains just keep spinning when they lay down at night, that usually ends up being because of a lack of sleep pressure from activity. You need to give your body a signal that it actually needs deep restorative sleep. So get general activity in. We work with a lot of busy people that work desk jobs. Some ways you can do that: if you can get up and go for a walk around the office, or even get outside, which is the best case scenario, do it. Make it a priority. Even if you need to get up at your office, do some air squats every single hour. Stacking that up over the course of a day is going to massively lead to sleep pressure. Lunch breaks, go on a walk if you can. Right after work, go on a walk. After your meals, go for a walk. Create some sleep pressure. If you do that and you control your caffeine, you're already in a much better spot for your sleep. As we go on throughout the course of the day, we're controlling our caffeine intake. We're getting our hydration in. As we get to the evenings, with most of our clients, we've got some type of PM priming process. So this is some type of routine that signifies the end of your day. We're transitioning out of fight or flight, busy work mode, into rest and digest. So your brain just can't shut off like that. It's not an on and off switch, it's a dimmer switch. So we've got to start signifying a few hours before bed that it's time to start relaxing, slowing the brain waves down. That's a combination of the PM priming process of supplementation, some lifestyle stuff, and usually some breathing exercises. From a supplement aspect, this is typically when we're putting in magnesium. So this is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m. We're going to put in some things that also slow your brain waves down, reduce cortisol, maybe L-theanine, maybe ashwagandha, maybe phosphatidylserine. That's another video for another time on the specifics of that. But usually one to a few of those things in combination are what we're using. Magnesium is usually in that routine. A little bit of stretching potentially, reduce some of the tension in your body, especially if you hold stress in your traps, your hips. We want to reduce some of that, so spend 1 to 2 minutes just doing some stretching, and then lay on your back, elevate your feet, do some deep diaphragmatic box breathing. Literally, if you spend 2 minutes, 7-second inhales, 7-second exhales, you will be amazed at how much calmer you feel, how much stress gets reduced, and you combine that with doing some magnesium, maybe some other supplements, and then a little bit of stretching, you're going to be way more relaxed heading into your evening. So as we progress into the evening, other things, dietary-wise, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to have more trouble sleeping. So that's where something like L-glycine during that PM priming might come into play. You might need a little more supplementation. If you are not trying to lose a bunch of weight, though, you should have some carbohydrates in the evening. Carbs are going to increase serotonin. Serotonin then leads to melatonin. So if you want melatonin, which gets you asleep and keeps you asleep, you need some carbs most of the time, unless there's a special situation. But if you're not eating a ton of carbs and you have crappy sleep, there's your magic pill. Get some carbohydrates in the evening. Make sure you're also getting enough B vitamins during the day, whether that's from food or from a multi. That helps with falling asleep and staying asleep in relation to melatonin. Other things in the evening, light exposure. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, start reducing your light exposure. Start dimming it down. Start getting lower dimmed lights, or even like red lights. In my bedroom on one of these lampshades, I've got a red LED. So we use that in the evenings. You don't have to go to quite that effect. You can wear something like these blue light blocking glasses, but the more that light's coming into your eyes, the more that melatonin is going to stay suppressed. So reduce the light. Try to get outside again if you can. If you can see the sunset, even better. And then just getting off your phone. They found that, yes, reducing light impact from your phone, from screens, from TVs is good. The main thing, though, is that you're getting a dopamine hit. Every single time you're scrolling Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that dopamine has to get cleared out of your brain. So you're setting yourself up to then take more time once you're off your phone for that dopamine to clear out. So even if you're, reducing light in other ways, you're shutting the lights down, if you're on your phone, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. Even if you're wearing these blue light blocking glasses, it's still not the best case scenario. So at least 30 minutes before bed, if you can, try to get off your phone. Your brain deserves it. Other than that, supplementation. So if we need to go a little bit deeper in terms of supplementation, if you need melatonin, I am a fan. We want to try to get away with the least amount of dosage possible. So 0.3 to a gram or a milligram of magnesium is going to be a great place to start. You can look at some other things like lactium, which is a milk peptide that can help with sleep. You might actually get into the actual peptide realm, so like delta sleep-inducing peptide, some of the growth hormone-inducing peptides. Always consult with your medical practitioner. This is not medical advice, but some of those things, if your blood work shows it, could be beneficial. And just reducing cortisol, reducing stress, getting in carbs, getting in enough calories. You do all of those things, you train hard, you wake up without an alarm, you're going to set yourself up for a lot better of a sleep. And I'll finish on this note. A ton of sleep deficiencies or issues usually stem from micronutrient deficiencies. If it's not a caffeine issue and it's not an activity issue or a stress issue, if all those things are being controlled, we just can't seem to get great sleep. Usually it's going to be hormones or it's going to be micronutrition. So really pay attention to how many vitamins and minerals you're getting. Specifically, your total magnesium intake, your total vitamin B5, B6, and then B12 intake. And then add those things in if you're deficient. And that should put you in a really great spot for sleep. Light early in the morning, less light in the evening. Try to wake up without an alarm, go to bed, and fall asleep at the same times routinely. Have a PM priming process. Have some little bit external supplementation if you really need to fall asleep and knock out later on the evening. CBD is also a great one that we're a fan of. And then carbohydrates in the evening. You do all those things, wrap it together, you'll start getting better sleep, and let me know if you guys need anything else.